Right now, we want to get you ready for what's next for you. You know, every Wednesday we try to focus at some form or fashion on what's going on in the workplace, job opportunities, ways to approach what you're doing, how to get a job, how to keep a job. But the question we've got for you right now is, are you part of the Great Resignation? Did you quit? A lot of folks have been doing that. And did you have remorse, or did you jump ship? And do you have remorse? Well, we're going to check in with a business innovator and workplace consultant. George Nagle's with us now. And George, want to jump into this because a lot of folks have jumped ship. And I think sometimes they did it for the right reasons. And sometimes maybe they just got on the bandwagon of everybody else doing it. What have you been hearing?
Yeah, there has been some of that workplace culture collapse, is what they're phrasing it, because a lot of people are doing it and they think that they're going to find a greener pasture somewhere else. And then the other side of that is some people are jumping ship because others have jumped ship because they had to pick up the other people's workloads,
Right.
and they're just completely burnt out.
Well, let's dive into this from both sides of this. Number one, you're in a job, and maybe it's a situation where you want to jump ship, not because the people around you are leaving or going for greener pastures, but maybe it's just you don't know if the job's right for you or not. How much time should somebody give, and how should they make that decision?
You know, well, the straight up answer is maybe 1 to 3 months. And there's a really defined aspect that you have to look at internally of, have you given it a real open and honest opportunity of a shot, right? Like, have you moved past your own bias? And if you have, then the next thing that you need to recognize is that life is 10% of what factually happens to you and 90% of how you interpret and choose to view it. But if you can move past that and honestly move past that, 1 to 3 months should easily let you flush out if it's a good position for you to be in.
I like that. The fact you bring up perspective, because a lot of the way we see the world is certainly through our perspective, and sometimes we need to take that third eye and step out a little bit. But you know, one of the things that I would ask myself is, why did I take the job in the first place?
Yeah, there's some components to that, and if the answer, unfortunately, is just a little bit more money, you're probably going to be pretty dissatisfied with that choice if there's nothing else benefiting you.
Okay, so George Nagle's with us this morning, business innovator and workplace consultant. Let's talk about we've hit that crossroad. We've decided, you know, this is not the right situation for me. I'm going to switch jobs. So how do you do that and make it work?
So if you can make that decision honestly, and fairly within the yourself and the employer, the way you make it work is the next company you're speaking with, you present it as, I left because I recognized it was a bad cultural fit and I didn't want to waste their time or mine, and we needed to make some type of a change. The easiest person to make that change was for me, and now I have a new perspective on what I'm looking for in the next job. So it really sets you up well, if you think about it that way, to find a better position that is more akin to what you're looking for. And if a potential employer hears that, you know, Bill, one of the things that we hear about all the time are companies looking for people that can recognize a bad situation, make a decisive decision, and act upon it. So that really sets you up as being able to do that. And that's actually a skill set that is attractive.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think we often don't think about is, okay, why are you leaving job A and you're looking for job B? What are those reasons you left? And check with your prospective new employer and see, this is where I was coming from. This is what was happening. Is that happening here? Because I don't want to waste your time or my time, because training is expensive.
It's extremely expensive, to the point where that's where, before the Great Resignation, companies were just so hesitant to hire because they saw that as such a big expense.
Okay, so here's the other one. I'm reading the job description and I'm going, this is me. Man, I got to have this. So how do I read through there to make sure that I'm not reading a lot of hype and I'm actually getting the truth?
The The job description itself, the first place I would start is, are there a lot of things listed, and are they actually truly clear, right? Is it just like a lot of hyperbole? If it is, it's probably just masking. But job descriptions are about as useful as resumes. You need to actually have a conversation with the person, because as much as you're going to go work for a company is people, and that's where you really need to get to, is the people, and having conversations and figuring out if that connection is real. But the job description, if it's really too unclear, right? Just a lot of hype words.
Yeah, a lot of ambiguity. Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
quite sure what exactly am I doing in this job. That's
Right. Yeah.
okay. What does a normal day look like for somebody in this job is a good question. That's the one I always ask. Of course, we've just barely scratched the surface here, but if folks want to take a deeper dive, they need to check out your book. It's called Miserable at Work. Why? You don't have to be. And we've listed some reasons to hopefully get you out of that and give you a new perspective. But read further into it, because there's more than what we just talked about here. And you've got a website. Tell us, folks, how they can find out more about what you do and maybe get some more advice from you.
Sure. So it's quite easy to visit us at Ideation, Emporium.com. My contact information's all over that website, so it's really easy to get in touch with me. I'll talk with anybody basically for an hour, and help them try to ideate, think, and find a different approach to what they're doing, or really just give them some new insights onto what's happening. And that's from everybody's perspective, not just potentially an employee or an employer.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, it's so important to get that perspective from a different viewpoint, because we see things through our eyes, and that's fine, but a lot of times we don't see them as they truly are because of our biases or perspectives. So
that's right.
It's a good idea to get a bit of, especially when you're talking about something that, you're looking at your career, you're looking at something you're going to spend a lot of time at. You want to make sure you get it right, and that you're seeing things clearly, for sure. Hey, thanks for being with us, George. Appreciate it. George Nagle's been our guest. Check him out there. IdeationEmporium.com is where you can find out more about him and about the book, Miserable at Work, Why You Don't Have to Be. Thanks much, George. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Bill.